A good mentor possesses wisdom. There's a well-known story of an expert who was called by a company to look at their manufacturing system. It had broken and everything was at a standstill. When the expert arrived, he carried nothing but a little black bag. Silently he walked around the equipment for a few minutes and then stopped. As he focused on one specific area of the equipment, he pulled a small hammer out of his bag and he tapped it gently. Suddenly everything began running again, and he quietly left. The next day he sent a bill that made the manager go ballistic. It was for $1,000. Quickly the manager emailed the expert and wrote, "I will not pay this outrageous bill without it being itemized and explained." Soon he received an invoice with the following words, "For the tapping on equipment with hammer, $1. For knowing where to tap, $999. That is the value of wisdom. Mentors with wisdom often show us where to tap. Their understanding, experience, and knowledge help us to solve problems that we would have a hard time handling on our own. Fred Smith was a mentor who often deposited wisdom into my life. One day I asked him why highly successful people often sabotaged their lives and hurt their careers. He said, "Never confuse the giftedness of a person with the person. Their gifts allow them to do amazing things, but the person may be flawed, which will eventually cause harm." That bit of wisdom has helped me immeasurably. First, it has helped me to better understand how to work with talented people and to help them develop. Second, it has been a caution to me personally. I know that having talent in a given area never exempts me from neglecting discipline or character issues. We're all just one step away from stupid. Wise people often use just a few words to help us learn and develop. They open our eyes to worlds we might not have otherwise seen without their help. They help us navigate difficult situations. They help us to see opportunities we would otherwise miss. They make us wiser than our years and experience. 5. A good mentor provides friendship and support. The first question most followers ask of a mentor is, "Do you care for me?" The reason for this question is obvious. Who wants to be guided by a person who isn't interested in them? Selfish people will assist you only insofar as it advances their own agenda. Good mentors provide friendship and support, unselfishly working to help you reach your potential. Their mindset is well expressed by business coach and author James S. Quicolo, who says, "Great things happen whenever we stop seeing ourselves as God's gift to others, and begin seeing others as God's gift to us." Great things happen whenever we stop seeing ourselves as God's gift to others, and begin seeing others as God's gift to us. James S. Quicolo. One evening I was enjoying dinner with the former CEO of Girl Scouts Francis Hesselbein and author Jim Collins. Both were mentored by Peter Drucker, often called the father of modern management. I had met Drucker and learned from him, but they had enjoyed a long-term relationship with him and had known him well. I asked them what they had learned from him, and their responses focused on the friendship of the man more than the wisdom of the expert. What Jim Collins told me that night is expressed very succinctly in an article he wrote after Drucker's death, but for me, Drucker's most important lessons cannot be found in any text or lecture but in the example of his life. I made a personal pilgrimage to Claremont, California, in 1994 seeking wisdom from the greatest management thinker of our age, and I came away feeling that I had met a compassionate and generous human being who, almost as a side benefit, was a prolific genius. We have lost not a guru on a pedestal but a beloved professor who welcomed students into his modest home for warm and stimulating conversation. Peter F. Drucker was driven not by the desire to say something but the desire to learn something from every student he met, and that is why he became one of the most influential teachers most of us have ever known. Point 1. If the person who offers to mentor you doesn't really support you and offer you friendship, then the relationship will always fall short of your expectations. Knowledge without support is sterile. Advice without friendship feels cold. Candor without care is harsh. However, when you are being helped by someone who cares for you, it is emotionally satisfying. Growth comes from both the head and the heart. Only supportive people are willing to share both with you. 6. A good mentor is a coach who makes a difference in people's lives. A major theme in my life is the desire to add value to people and make a difference in their lives. One of the ways I do that is by mentoring people. But my time is so limited that I can mentor only a very few. This has caused frustration for me and for the many people who ask me to coach them or train them to coach others. To my delight, I finally have a solution to this problem. In 2011, some friends helped me to create a coaching company called the John Maxwell team. It has become one of my most fulfilling, make a difference, commitments because it enables me to add value to many people by helping to train and certify coaches who teach my principles. Together, we are making a difference in people's lives. I love the word coach. I read in my friend Kevin Hall's book Aspire that the word derives from the horse-drawn coaches that were developed in the town of Koch during the 15th century. The vehicles were originally used to transport royalty, but in time they also carried valuables, mail, and common passengers. As Kevin remarks, a coach remains something, or someone, who carries a valued person from where they are to where they want to be. So if you had a coach, you knew you would end up at your desired destination. In a piece called, A Coach by Any Other Name, Kevin goes on to describe what it means to be a coach. He writes, in other cultures and languages, coaches are known by many different names and titles. In Japan, a sensei is one who has gone farther down the path. In martial arts, it is the designation for master. In Sanskrit, a guru is one with great knowledge and wisdom. Gu means darkness, and ru means light. A guru takes someone from darkness into the light. In Tibet, a lama is one with spirituality and authority to teach. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Dalai Lama is the highest-ranking teacher. In Italy, a maestro is a master teacher of music. It is short for maestro de cappella, meaning master of the chapel. In France, a tutor is a private teacher. The term dates to the 14th century and refers to one who served as a watchman. In England, a guide is one who knows and shows the way. It denotes the ability to see and point out the better course. In Greece, a mentor is a wise and trusted advisor. In the Odyssey, Homer's mentor was a protective and supportive counselor. All these words describe the same role, one who goes before and shows the way. 2 inches. A coach remains something, or someone, who carries a valued person from where they are to where they want to be. Kevin Hall. No matter what word you use to describe them, coaches make a difference in others' lives. They help them grow. They improve their potential. They increase their productivity. They are essential to helping people effect positive change. As my friend Andy Stanley says in The Next Generation Leader, you will never maximize your potential in any area without coaching. It is impossible. You may be good. You may be even better than everyone else. But without outside input you will never be as good as you could be. We all do better when somebody is watching and evaluating. Self-evaluation is helpful, but evaluation from someone else is essential. 3 inches. Self-evaluation is helpful, but evaluation from someone else is essential. Andy Stanley. In my opinion, good coaches share 5 common characteristics. They care for the people they coach, observe their attitudes, behavior, and performance, align them with their strengths for peak performance, communicate and give feedback about their performance, help them to improve their lives and performance. I have benefited from hundreds of people over the years who have modeled personal growth, mentored me from their successes, and coached me to better performance by using these 5 characteristics. I am indebted to them. The process of growing with the help of a mentor usually follows this pattern. It begins with awareness. You realize that you need help and that following yourself is not a viable option for effective personal growth. I was fortunate to come to this realization early in my career. I recognized that I had no experience, no exposure, and no strong models within my circles to help me develop my potential. When a person comes to such a realization, one of 2 things can happen. The first is that the person's pride swells up and he cannot bring himself to ask another person for advice. This is a common reaction. In his book The Corporate Steeplechase, psychologist Shirley Blotnick says that people in their 20s starting their careers tend to be ashamed to ask questions. When they reach their 30s, their desire to be individualistic makes it difficult for them to seek counsel from colleagues. That can definitely work against them. To keep from looking ignorant, they almost ensure their own ignorance. The other reaction to awareness is to humble yourself and say, "I need your help." That decision not only leads to greater knowledge, but it also often develops maturity. It reinforces that people need one another, not just when they're young and starting out, but their entire lives. As Chuck Swindoll so eloquently says in his book The Finishing Touch, nobody is a whole chain. Each one is a link. But take away one link and the chain is broken. Nobody is a whole team. Each one is a player. But take away one player and the game is forfeited. Nobody is a whole orchestra. Each one is a musician. But take away one musician and the symphony is incomplete. You guessed it. We need each other. You need someone and someone needs you. Isolated islands we're not. To make this thing called life work, we gotta lean and support. And relate and respond. And give and take. And confess and forgive. And reach out and embrace. And release and rely. Since none of us is a whole, independent, self-sufficient, super capable, all-powerful hotshot, let's quit acting like we are. Life's lonely enough without our playing that silly role. The game's over. Let's link up. As I look back over my life, I recognize that the greatest assets of my growth journey were people. But then again, so were the greatest liabilities. The people you follow, the models you emulate, the mentors you take advice from help to shape you. If you spend your time with people who subtract from you, who belittle you or undervalue you, then every step forward that you attempt to take will be difficult. But if you find wise leaders, good role models, and positive friends, you will find that they speed you on your journey. I've been fortunate to have many fantastic mentors during the course of my life. My first models were my parents, Melvin and Laura Maxwell. From them I learned integrity and unconditional love. Elmer Towns and Zig Ziglar were two of the people I first learned from outside of the small circle I grew up in. Elmer was the first to teach me about growing my church. Zig was the first personal growth speaker I followed. Both became good friends. Tom Philippe and my brother Larry Maxwell mentored me in business. Les Staub helped me learn how to write my first book. Peter Drucker opened my eyes to the importance of developing people to the level where they could replace me. Fred Smith helped me to fine-tune my leadership skills. Bill Bright showed me the impact that business thinkers can have on the world of faith. John Wooden taught me how to be a better man. No matter who you are, what you have accomplished, how low or how high your life has taken you, you can benefit from having a mentor. If you've never had one, you have no idea how much it can improve your life. If you have had mentors, then you already know, and you should start passing it on by becoming a mentor to others, because you know that it's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to follow. Applying the law of modeling to your life. 1. Find a next step mentor. Think about where you are currently in your career and the direction you would like to go. Look for someone you admire who is 2 or 3 steps ahead of you on that same track. This person doesn't necessarily need to be in your organization. Look for the qualities needed in a good mentor: a worthy example, availability, proven experience, wisdom, willingness to be supportive, and coaching skills. If those are present in this individual, ask him or her to mentor you. Before any meeting with a mentor, come prepared with 3 to 5 thoughtful questions, the answers to which will help you significantly. After you've met, work to apply what you've learned to your own situation. Don't ask for another meeting until you have done that. At your next meeting, begin the session by telling your mentor how you applied what you learned, or how you tried to apply it and failed, so you can learn what you did wrong. Then ask your new questions. Follow this pattern, and your mentor will be rewarded for his or her effort and will probably be glad to continue helping you. 2. We all need people who can help us sharpen specific strengths or navigate through certain problem areas. Who do you talk to when you have questions related to marriage, parenting, spiritual growth, personal disciplines, hobbies, and so on? No one person can answer all of these questions. You need to find several individual consultants to help you. Spend some time making 2 lists. First, list the specific strengths or skills you want to improve to reach your potential. Second, list the specific problem areas where you feel the need for ongoing guidance. Begin looking for people with expertise in these particular areas and ask them if they would be willing to answer questions when you have them. 3. Do you have long-term models whom you observe, follow, and learn from, people who can give you advice regarding the big picture of your life and career? Or are you trying to improve while having no one but yourself to follow? If you haven't been asking others to help you on your journey, it's time to start. Most of us begin by looking for worthy models to follow by reading about them in books. Start there. But don't leave it at that. Look for people who will give you access to their lives. One such person for me was John Wooden. For many decades, I learned from him from a distance. I watched his teams play on television. I followed his career. I read everything he wrote. However, when he was in his 90s, I had the privilege of meeting with him twice a year for several years. I learned a lot from him and I'm very grateful for the time I had with him. As you look for models and mentors, I want to give you a word of caution. Oftentimes, people look good from far away, but when you get to know them, you discover qualities you don't admire. If that happens to you, please don't allow it to discourage you. There are plenty of people out there who have integrity and who are worthy to be respected and followed, such as John Wooden. Keep looking for them and you will find them. Applying the law of modeling to your life. 1. Find a next step mentor.